Welcome everyone to another talk in our QAC days. Now we are going to hear from Tanya, who is one of our software engineer testing leads, and she will tell us all of her secrets about a day in her testing life, and we will discover and find what's hidden for everyone. So before we can start and I introduce Tanya, I want to remind you that this session is being recorded and will be available for you to rewatch next week. And also, you have the chance to win a prize. If you are watching all of our conference, you can play the game with us and win. The game is the following. You have to find the secret word that will appear during Tanya's presentation. And once you gather all the words and you have the encrypted phrase, you can send it to us and win a prize. The first 3 people that get the answers correct will be awarded with a NIPAM prize. So now let me introduce you to Tanya. Besides being one of our best testing leaders, she is a mom. She has 2 children and very beautiful turtle. She loves traveling either inside her country and abroad, and she's an athlete. She was a professional swimmer for a long time. She's a master in the synchro swimming, and she even went to a world championship. So she is a multifaceted woman and one of our best testers in the company. Welcome, Tanya.
Thank you a lot, April. Would you please let me know whether you hear me well?
Yes, we can hear you well, and everyone can leave all your questions for Tanya in our community page.
Today my topic is a testing as a service, or like the regular day of the test as a manager. So let's move to my first slide. It's like a small presentation. Just a second. I would like to fix one problem. Give me please 1 minute.
We can hear you and see the presentation.
Thank you a lot and sorry for this technical problem from my side. So in EPAM, have been working for EPAM for almost 10 years, and now I am a test manager in testing as a service program, and here I am test manager for more than 1 year. That's why I have a rather wide experience in this role. That's why I would like to share my daily tasks, and I suppose that it will be interesting for you. You would like to proceed your development in this direction. So Just a very small, very quick review of the testing as a service like program in EPAM. And when the customer turns to us in order to resolve their problems. So in which cases the client turns to us? First of all, if the client has a lot of defects from production and the end users, they are not satisfied with the quality of the product. The second reason when the client would like to have some help from us is when they have the automation debt on their project. It means that for example, when the automation itself is too slow, or the coverage is not good enough, or the automation lags far behind development. One more reason in order to turn to us is when you have the big regression scope, testing scope, and this regression phase happens rather periodically, for example, rather often on weekly or bi-weekly, monthly basis, and so on. And a lot of, for example, different configurations should be covered, devices, and for example, the client has the diversity of the languages and so on. One more reason is the lack of the quick feedback from the UAT. In my experience, I faced on different projects when the UAT starts their testing rather, right before the production. That's why there are situations that the last minute changes appears, and it's always risky to fix defects right before the production. And one more thing, one more reason, to come to us is when the client would like to reduce the costs, and the client needs to involve the testing team with these special skills. As an example, the specialists or experts in the accessibility testing or automation or performance testing and so on. That's why, in order not to pay for this team constantly, he can turn to us and we propose this testing service. So in these cases, we propose absolutely different method of the testing on the project. And here, you can see the different types of testing, and services which we can provide to our client. First of all, different types. I mean, the automation, exploratory testing, accessibility, user experience testing, and also the managed test cases, authoring, execution, and performance and load testing. From my experience, I would like to emphasize that I have amazing experience when I involved the performance team into my manual team, and we have really good results here. So the next slide is about the testing as a service program or model overview. So when we are talking about the testing as a service, usually we cooperate with the Flex and Core teams. Flex team, it consists of the EPAM employees and freelancers. Regarding the EPAM employees, this is the professional testers with a great experience in different domains, in different areas, types of testing, and so on. They are involved in testing when they are on bench. They are searching for new project. And they have such a possibility to execute the test cases in scope of the testing as a service program and to gain new knowledge in new domain, for example, new skills. And usually EPAM crowd concentrates on the test cases execution, while the freelancers testers, they are concentrating mostly on exploratory testing. But anyway, freelancers, these are the people all over from all over the world, which would like just to participate in testing. We have also the core team. In sometimes, we involve the people in core team, in order when the client has something very specific. For example, some security, like accesses, specific tools, or maybe something extremely complicated, like some parts of the applications extremely complicated, and we cannot provide this testing to crowd, because some specific knowledge is needed. So our core team consists usually of can consist of QA architect or automation lead, even functional testers, and sometimes automation engineers. But anyway, our main focus always is on the crowd execution. And here between these two teams, the new role appeared. It's the test manager. It's the dedicated role on the project. First of all, it's a person who interfaces with the project. He interacts with client. Anyway, I'll provide all the stack of his responsibilities further, but anyway, it's the client-facing role, and he's fully responsible for the project, like not the project itself, but the setting up the testing process and the result. So also a very important thing here is that the flex team can be increased or decreased upon the workload. It's extremely important for the client. Why? Because the client doesn't need to pay for the particular testers all the time. We just can provide him, for example, service testing when 100 testers involved. And if he doesn't need such amount, then it can be less amount. So the next slide is about the test manager role. First of all, test manager is the main point and communicator. What does it mean? So he faces client, as I've mentioned before. He gathered his needs, his pain in testing. He defines the goals that should be achieved by testing. And he decides how to achieve these goals. After that, he measures the client's satisfaction. When he reports the testing results, when he sees the reaction of the client. So it's like the measurements of the client's satisfaction. And if something goes wrong, then the test manager provides the improvement plan and monitor its realization. Then test manager is also the knowledge keeper and subject matter expert. Why? Because in order to understand the areas to be improved on the client side, test manager has to dive very deeply in the current client's testing process, to identify the weak places in order to fix them. Sometimes it should dive not only in the testing process, but also to the application itself, the integrations and so on. And here, when he dives and identified the gaps to be fixed, test manager acts as QA consultant and advisor. It means that test manager proposes different ways, different approaches, processes, and so on, how and educate the client how to change his current process, his current testing process in order to achieve these goals, and to make the process and the product better. Also, test manager is a team coordinator and mentor. Why? Because test manager, he orchestrates the resources. he involved the capabilities, like necessary people, its crowd, the devices, infrastructure, and so on. And also provide detailed information in order to gain good results at the end. Also, test manager is the test coordinator, team lead, like test team lead and tester. Because when the test cases are ready or the exploratory tester is ready for execution, yeah, and when the crowd is involved in the testing, test manager then acts as team lead and provide all the answers to all the questions, provides information necessary, accesses, and so on. And even sometimes, in some particular cases, test manager like executes the test cases by himself. So what are the challenges of the test manager in testing as a service program? The main challenge is to change the way of clients thinking. Usually, client concentrates on the project staffing by particular people with particular skill set and so on. And a test manager needs to persuade him not to think about the full-time employees, but concentrate on scope and schedule. And in order to do it, we need to educate client, to provide more information as testing about the testing as a service program or model, to provide details how we plan to gain or to achieve his goals, without staffing the project by particular people. It's rather hard, but anyway, our clients, we have a stack of the clients which are very satisfied with our approach. Also, test manager works with the distributed teams all over the world. It's absolutely not a new thing. We all are working in this, like our current situation. Our teams are distributed also all over the world. But here we have one peculiarity. We involved very quickly people in different zones, time zones, I mean. It means that we have the freelancers and even EPAMers in different time zones, and we have access to them and can involve in our testing very quickly. Also, test managers should scale between several projects and several domains. What does it mean? It means that each test manager has up to 4 projects at once. Of course, it depends upon the project size, upon the complexity of the tasks, project complexity as well. And in order to be every time be ready to help client on in different domains and so on, in different applications, we need to be involved in ongoing learning and studying. Also, when we have 2 or 3 projects at once, it's rather complicated because you need to keep an eye on different problems, to remember about the peculiarities of all the projects. So time management helps here a lot to be always on track. Also, test manager has a very big challenge, to be strict, to have very strict planning and to act within the also strict estimation. It means that test manager monitors and controls the efforts which are spent by testing as a service program on monthly basis by particular client. It helps client just to act, just to have this service, in particular limits. For example, it depends upon upon the size, upon the services which we provide to this client. So we monitor this very attentively. Also, test manager should be like fast react on any change, yeah, and to be very flexible, to be like anyway on every project we need to be very flexible, yeah, and like to react very quickly to any changing requirements and so on. So here the test manager in testing as a service program, yeah, it's not an exclusion, it's just the same thing. So we need to be flexible and adjustable because the client changes their minds, yeah, they have the changes in their applications and approaches and so on. And again, yeah, in order to provide the high quality of the testing service and the high quality results, we need to be involved in ongoing learning and studying, of course. So, which tasks, yeah, we perform on a daily basis? First of all, it's the testing scope analysis and distribution. Like daily routine for any team lead on the project, the same thing is here. The second one, the involving crowd into testing activities, it's not regular task for the team lead, yeah, because first of all, we need to identify which crowd is needed for particular test run execution, yeah. We need to communicate with the crowd coordinators per location in order to involve these people. Then we need to set very clear expectations from the crowd, and to, of course, to onboard them, to provide any instructions and so on, to have the really good testing, like in order to provide a good quality application or good quality results to our clients. Then we need to analyze and distribute the devices. It's a very interesting topic because first of all, our crowd uses their own devices, and it's a wide range of devices all over the world, of course, but sometimes it's not enough. EPAMers, they have the possibility to use our devices in mobile farm. Sometimes we need the specific, very extremely specific devices. Then the customer just sends it to our testers. And so the testing is performed on the devices of the client. It's not only iPads or tablets or phones and so on. It can be the medical devices, yeah, very extremely specific ones. Then the test manager is closely works a lot on the Test.io platform. Test.io platform is really like big application. There are a lot of features, and you know, I'm working here more than 1 year, but anyway, I face just with something new on the platform, but it allows to perform a lot of things. First of all, the test manager needs to, as an example, to import test cases from other test management tools. Then to set up the test runs with the test cases, of course. Then, for example, to export the test results to the test management tools of the client, to provide these segments for the testers. It's like to identify the location from which I would like to have the testers, which should test which should execute my test cases and so on. So the platform itself, yeah, we work really a lot with the Test.io platform itself. Then, as a test manager, I need to monitor the testing progress. What does it mean? It means that I constantly overview the speed of the execution in order to have the results on time. Also, if I see that, for example, the speed is not good enough, then I turn to our EPAM crowd coordinators per location in order to involve more people, or sometimes I execute my test cases by myself in order to speed up a bit my execution. Also, I make some notes. For example, because the slow speed can say me that something wrong with the test cases, and it's maybe very hard to execute them by testers. So it's the testing process monitoring. It's extremely useful thing for the further improvements. And of course, my daily routine consists of the client collaboration, cooperation, and really a lot of communication. So yeah, communication is not only with the client, but with the crowd itself as well. And I like this work very, very much, to communicate with EPAMers or not EPAMers, yeah, but with a wide range of people, different people. And I have 3 examples, 3 case studies in order to illustrate like the success stories, the test manager like role, in particular on particular projects. So here you can see the our first project. It was the first project in testing as a service program. It is Everfi. Everfi is the educational program. The client, not program, but the portal, educational portal. The client is from USA. And the portal itself, the educational portal itself, it's rather complicated system, and it consists of 7 products like inside. And we started the collaboration with the Everfi when their vice president decided like to make the digital transformation on his company, and he didn't want to to lose the quality. At that time, Everfi had more than 10 manual testers, but now the new thing was that the VP would like to force them to perform the automation work, and again, not to lose the quality. Also, in the company, in this project, the test management process was very poor. The manual test team consists of several substreams, and they wrote the test cases absolutely in different manner. So these test cases couldn't be used by, for example, by crowd, and like the quality of the test cases was very, very poor. And again, one of the challenges was that they have big manual scope of the regression testing. And so they had new features that had to be covered by the test cases. And they had 7 products which were interconnected. And it's rather challenging to run the regression tests just across all the 7 applications. So what was done by our excellent test manager? It was a real fight, because there were a lot of complexities during this work. But anyway, I would like to concentrate only on some points which were very, very important to have success at the end. First of all, during the discovery phase, the test manager dived very deeply into the application itself and analyzed the existed test cases of all the substreams and establishes the test cases best practices. So to have this template for the test cases creation for the next new features, for example. And also test manager with his team, they created very good crowd compatible test cases. They provided all the information inside in order to make these test cases be executable by the crowd. And during the discovery phase, they started like execution, and they had a very early feedback on the product quality. It means that these discovery runs, they showed the weak places in all areas in order to fix them very quickly. And after that, so test manager, just after realizing which were the weak areas, just set up the process. And after that acts in order to have this, in order to fix these problems. And also, what was done is the crowd-friendly test cases were written. They are well structured. They are always they were and they are now up to date. Yeah, they have all the information inside in order to execute this test case by the tester who, for example, who has never seen this application before. So as a result, yeah, we have the bunch of the test cases, very good ones, yeah, the best practices, and so on and so forth. The client saved really a lot of money for them, yeah, and they restructured their own testing team. They focused on the automation or any other interesting tasks, because the regression scope is done yeah by the crowd. Now the company itself and our team as well, we are confident, yeah, when we release the product to the production. And the TestIO platform, it gives the visible result of the testing process of the testing. And and it also it shows the quality of the product. I mean that different reports from TestIO platform and so on. And now, yeah, one of the main, I suppose, achievements of the test manager was that now the client trusts us. Yeah, he provides new tasks for TAS program. Now, the crowd not only executes the test cases, but also the crowd confirms the bug fixes. Now the core team creates the test cases for new features. Yeah, also it's very interesting thing for the testing as a service program. So yeah, Everify is one of the best examples of the test manager's hard work, yeah, and the excellent result at the end. The next example is the Delhaize project. It's an e-commerce platform, just a like online shop. Yeah, the challenges which were faced by me, because I was like I acted as a test manager from the testing as a service side, program side. So the first challenge was a huge regression scope. It means that it consists of 4 web applications for 4 different countries on different languages. And at the beginning, it was the big problem that these languages, they are not usual ones. For example, it's Greece, yeah, and others that we cannot find such knowledge keepers, like, for example, in EPAM very quickly. But anyway, the next challenge is the multiple configuration support. It means that the regression scope should be run on 5 configurations, different 5 configurations for each country. And also we have 2 native mobile native applications, yeah, which should be run on also for each country. Also, the project has very tense release schedule. more than 1,000 test cases should be executed on a monthly basis. And one more challenge is that the team had to support the pool of devices and distribute them among their QA team on a monthly basis. So yeah, big problem. It was a big problem for them. So what was done by test manager? First of all, thanks to our mobile cloud support, the dedicated mobile cloud instance was created. This instance consists of like approximately more than 10 devices, more than 10, maybe 15 devices. Yeah. And these devices are used by our crowd on a monthly basis during this huge regression execution. Then we provided, like core team, I mean the Delhaize project itself, they provided the onboarding videos in order to onboard our crowd. These videos contain a lot of information regarding some peculiarities of this application, some tricks and tips and so on. They really help our testers to be like involved deeply in testing and to understand the test cases better. Also, at the beginning of this project in testing as a service program, we provided, I provided together with the core team, the onboarding sessions. Now we don't need them because we attach all necessary information yet to our test runs. That's why we don't need right now. But anyway, this ad hoc team dedicated onboarding sessions were very useful. And they speeded up the process a lot. And again, we constantly gather the feedback regarding the test cases quality and yeah, about the test cases quality on a regular basis. And I can definitely say that the test cases became better and better from month to month. Unfortunately, we don't change them in our program and testing as a service. I mean, they are changed by the core team, the Delhaize team. But anyway, these test cases became better and better. And now we have less questions regarding them. So the results, yeah, I've mentioned one of the results is that the test cases becomes better and better. Also, we removed the load peaks during the regression cycles because we, thanks to the crowd execution, the regression team decreased itself by 30%. Also, now the project, the Delhaize project, it doesn't need to support and to keep the such amount of devices for the regression testing. So yeah, the team itself, the Delhaize team, was restructured, and now the core testers, they concentrated on the most complicated features, automation, and so on, because all the routine tasks now are performed by the crowd. And yeah, such a result as team motivation, I also would like to mention, because the atmosphere now in team is improved because of these peaks of load during the regression cycles. Yeah, they are gone. The boring tasks, yeah, they are like delegated to the crowd. That's why the team can concentrate on gaining new skills, for example, and performing new tasks. And the last case which I would like to provide, it is connected with the game industry. So we had a request, yeah, very unusual one for testing as a service program and for EPAM itself as well. And here, test manager was a real hero. Yeah, he gained really good results. Yeah, so that's why this example is in my presentation. What was done? First of all, the testing should be performed. Yeah, was performed in rather like tough schedule, and test manager involved more than 300 candidates, and this like big team was convened in 2 days. It's like the best result, I suppose, from our examples of other projects in testing as a service program. So the involved candidates, they have like wild skill variety. We can find there and testers and a lot of developers, business analysis and project managers, and all these people would like to help with the testing in games. So it was a big challenge, but anyway, this skill set allowed us, or like test manager, to achieve his goal. And as a result, more than 200 issues were submitted, and 70 bugs, from these 200, they were not found by the internal team, by other vendors, automation, and even by EPAM testing core team. I think that it's extremely interesting example of of the such phenomena when the professionals themselves, when they concentrate on their tasks, sometimes they cannot see very interesting defects. Yeah, and that's why when it's very productive to involve people who are not like inside the core team. Yeah, they have fresh look, like fresh approach, maybe like absolutely another approach to game and so on. That's why 3 critical and 15 major defects were found and can be found in such a situation. And yeah, thanks a test manager, thanks to his efforts, improved the overall quality assurance process for this project. Yeah, so these are my examples. And the last thing I would like to announce is to sum up who is the test manager in testing as a service program. First of all, from my point of view, it's the client primary point of contact, because test manager is the first person who would like to resolve the client's problem. And via test manager, client has the possibility to use more than 700 testing people, the testing best practices, devices, and so on. And all this stuff can be bought by a client in like easy to buy packages. But this point is not, in my responsibility. Is better to turn to our pre-sales. But anyway, test manager here is the contact point and like the way to gain all these testing practices. Here, test manager allows client to buy the flexible capacity, rather to concentrate again and again on the particular people on the project, and client doesn't need to pay for them even if these people are not fully loaded. So test manager will provide such a possibility. And what I would like to emphasize, that testing as a service program consists of a lot of test managers for now, and it extends test manager capabilities. We support very strong test managers community. It's rather young, but anyway, We share knowledge, our best practices and complicated cases. We help each other and so on. So yeah, testing practice support. Yeah, it's our, focus. Also, we have the possibility to participate in multiple projects and simultaneously gain the experience really in different domains, areas, and to deal with absolutely different clients' problems. We involve all locations. First of all, we have test managers from different locations. For example, today I was onboarding excellent test manager from India, and I hope that we'll collaborate very productively. And yeah, test manager has such a possibility to collaborate with different clients, stakeholders, and so on, and to understand their needs better and deeper, and to see the result of his own work, to see the result of his proposals, approaches, and so on. So the test manager role, rather interesting one. And here you can see the link how to join us if you're not a EPAMer. Then just you need to register on this Testia platform. And if you're a EPAMer, you can use your email. And the contact points in EPAM, Yulia and Victoria, and also me, is if you would like just to ask any questions, for example, tomorrow or in a month, would you please contact me via Teams, for example. So that's it from my side. You're welcome with your questions.
Thank you, Tanya. We have a couple of questions here in the chat. First one says, how did you design the charging for service delivery? Is there any difference between manual testing and test automation?
Mm-hmm. All the questions regarding the fees itself, it's a bit not like my responsibility, because I am responsible for the scope, and schedule, but the rates, fees, and so on, it is the matter of our delivery manager, Victoria. And in order to have the expert answer here, would you please turn to Victoria or Julia? Because the fees are different anyway for manual and automation. I know it's for manual automation, for example, performance tester.
Next one says, have you tried to describe different levels of service charge depending on the complexity of the system or application? And how to verify if we need more resources because of the complexity or unexpected issues? Have you had any problems with that?
Yeah, sure. Anyway, the first part of the question, we don't have different rates and fees depend on the application complexity. No, it's the same. The problem is how many people and with which skills to involve. And yes, in order to identify, for example, how many people with which skills do we need, we have the evaluation phase or discovery phase. It lasts for 3 months usually. During this phase, we dive deep into the application complexity. We gather the feedback from the client, and we just launch a couple of discovery test runs, and we can see the questions, the level of questions, the speed of execution, and so on. And thanks to the discovery phase and discovery test runs, we know how many people do we need, which skills to involve, and so on.
Thank you. Next question says, how are you selecting which non-EPAM testers will join the project?
You know, I had such an experience, and I didn't need to select them, and it's not a best practice to select them at all, because usually they run the exploratory tests, like exploratory, let it be testing, yeah, and it's the main idea of the external freelancers is to use absolutely different people from different like continents and so on to have their feedback, because they're different. That's why no, we don't select the freelancers. Only if I need the team lead from the freelancer side, then I can select someone by his, for example, rates, or anyway, I communicate also this thing. I usually communicate with the necessary people.
Thank you. If you have any more questions, you can leave them in the chat. Those were like all the questions for now. And I would like to ask you, Tanya, because you already talked about challenges of the test managers, but what would be like the most rewarding thing about being a test manager?
Sorry, come again. What's the most?
The rewarding part, like the good parts of being a testing manager.
You know, I think that is the same thing from all the areas in our life. When we see the happy client, yeah, satisfied with the results, when you see that really the testing process was improved, is the most exciting thing in my life, in my work. And also I like communication. I like to communicate with people, with client or with crowd. Anyway, it doesn't matter for me. That's why, in order to involve people into our testing, yeah, to persuade them to participate in it, or any other topics, yeah, communication, yeah, it's really interesting and exciting.
Thank you. We have another question. When the work of a test manager is considered to be done on the project?
Oh, good question. Thank you. Usually we have the data of the agreement like finish, or the contract is finished, for example, in a year. But when the test manager like work is extremely important on the discovery phase, yeah, and in the next phase, in order to launch the new testing process, to polish the test cases, to just to see how the necessary tools work. And when the test manager sees that the results are great, the client is satisfied, when the like we don't have anything that should be improved like very hard, then the test manager's work like very close to finish. But anyway, till the end of the contract, we need to communicate with customer. But here, after we have the good results, yeah, and we see that the process goes, yeah, then we switch to another project. When we have one more project and one more, just keeping an eye on this one.
Thank you. Anyone else has one final question? We still have a couple more minutes, so if you have any last questions for Tanya, is the time to ask. But thank you so much, Tanya, for sharing all your expertise with us. It was a very interesting topic, and we had really good questions from the audience. So let me see if we have any other. No, apparently those are like all the questions. You can see the recording of this session next week. It will be available on all our official channels. And oh, there is one last question to wrap it up. Is there a case you work on a couple of projects at the same time?
Yeah, yes, it's a regular thing here. I was involved into 3 projects simultaneously. Thanks God, one of them was finished a couple of weeks ago. But now I am searching, and my delivery manager is searching for the new opportunity. That's why, yeah, it's a normal thing.
Perfect. So yeah, we can close it out with that one. We are on time. Thank you again, Tanya.
Thank you a lot.
We have thank you from the audience as well, and thank you everyone for joining this session. And we have the chat available on Discord as well. And if you have any other questions that we don't have more time to answer, then you can leave them in the chat and Tanya will answer them on Community C. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you again,
Thank you,
Tanya.
Avril. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.